Talking about a possible all kill from the former member of vV Gaming.
This is an interesting choice from vVv too. Ruff, one of those players who is known for abnormal play, up against another player known for abnormal play. We will have Ruff spawning as the blue Terran in the northeast position, and Infinity Seven's time going to be spawning as the red Protoss in the southwest position. And it's also an interesting choice by vVv because that leaves Hasu as their last line of defense, their anchor in this clan war. And all these players are quite strong. Of course, they've had their great Wednesday night StarCrafts, but I would say that Hasu probably the least experienced, maybe the not a player that you would possibly leave for an anchor. So maybe Ruff coming in here to try to stop the bleeding here a little bit for vVv and put an end to Time's reign.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Hasu in this particular instance. I know Hasu's been working on his Protoss versus Protoss mirror match, especially doing those 4 gates. He's had a lot of practice. I think even playing against a couple very, very well-known Korean Protoss players. And if he's studied those replays, if he's been able to analyze them, work on his timings, it would have been, some 4 gate variation versus 4 gate variation. But I would have liked to have seen that matchup as well. Nothing against Ruff. Going into this, I wanted to see Ruff versus Time, and I guess this is one of the ways to guarantee that it was going to happen, as we now see Ruff opening up with a barracks on the front door, pretty standard build, but no gas as of yet.
And he's actually walling off quickly there with that second depot going up at 13 food. So it's surprising that he's doing this build without gas. Maybe he's going to start a quick command center, or maybe he's just going to come out with 7 or 8 barracks like Ruff has been known to do against various races. We definitely can never predict his build, but Time not going to be able to get in for any scouting information at this point.
Oh, a supply depot coming up just in the nick of time there, denying the probe any serious scouting. We are upgrading to an orbital command, and we'll see what exactly Ruff's going to be going for with this one SCV. SCV, I guess, deciding to build another barrack, so it is going to be a multi-barracks build here. And I think we've talked to Ruff about this particular build, where the build is designed in order to punish a teching Protoss player. He is starting to get gas now, so if he goes into the double refinery, it's not going to be that build. But we'll see how this all works out. A Marine now just sitting at the Zelnaga tower, and Ruff is going to be forced to play in the dark, though, just like Time is. So we'll see what's going to be happening. It looks like a Zealot was canceled, and now perhaps a Stalker will be chrono boosted out alongside that Warp Gate tech.
Well, remember Ruff did have that one build in TVP where he went for fast +1 and fast drops with, I believe it was Stim as well. And I'm not sure if he had combat shield, but he just had a ton of Marines. And I think that was the one where he said that really is meant to punish that teching Protoss. You try to catch the Protoss going on to 2 bases, trying to get up Colossi at the same time, and really trying to do too much at once, and you hit them with a very powerful push with upgrades with those Marines. So we'll see if he goes for something like that. He does have the low ground barracks now with a tech lab, and this is an interesting position for this tech lab. I know we've seen players, land a barracks on a low ground to really give them an advantage. They don't have to walk as far, but placing a tech lab down here as well, pretty ballsy.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see as a Marauder is going to be coming out of there. Does the Stalker actually see it? The Stalker does not see that. Wow, that was huge. The fact that he did not activate that Zelnaga tower there means that Ruff will be able to train up a Marauder with Concussive Shell without the Stalker really knowing about it. And this may spell almost certain doom. The Marauder could try to go after it. The Stalker going to come down here, activate the Zelnaga tower now, and see a little bit of the cute antics, and take a look at that one Marauder with the Concussive Shells now being researched.
And Time just spots it, clicks on it. He sees that not only is that barracks working, but the tech lab working as well. So he does know that Concussive Shell on the way and these Marauders on the way as well, and he is expanding off of this just 1 gate, so he's going to have to chrono boost out some units. He does have 50 energy on his Nexus, but at this point he might actually just be canceling this Nexus if it comes to that, and it looks like he does it right there. So he does have these sentries on the high ground. They do have enough energy for, I believe, 3, now 4 force fields, and soon to be a 5th. So he will be able to defend against this as Ruff trying to make his way up here with a strong early one-base timing.
Yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen. The Marauder does have a little bit of sight up onto the high ground, but not going to be able to get very much there, only getting a little bit of superficial damage onto the Sentries and to the Stalkers. More gateways should be coming in from Time, or perhaps just warping in some additional units, but Time is going to be in a little bit of trouble now. He needs to perhaps launch some sort of counterattack as Time lost the building time on his Nexus as the command center about to be finished, and we should perhaps be seeing some SCVs transferred over and the upgrade to an orbital command as Ruff now getting very defensive with triple bunkers.
Yeah, the Nexus cancel is huge. Short Time is going to be able to sort of do a transition off of that, but he just wasn't set up to make a strong early game push here. Typically if a Protoss player wants to do a one-base push, it might come with that Robo and some Immortals and 3 warp gates, but Time only had 1 warp gate up there when he had that Nexus down there. So it really threw off his timing, and he's just not going to have the glut of units which you would need to put pressure on a Terran player. So Ruff going to get a free expansion here, and he does have these 3 bunkers all full as well. He's got Stim about 3/4 of the way done, so he's in a great position, and it looks like Time almost going to be forced to go for a one-base Colossus push as he's coming out with his first Immortal and the Robotics Bay finishing up now.
Yeah, I mean, if I know that vV Gaming knows Time very, very well, and my guess would be that there's going to be some sort of push from Time. Normally, Time is able to catch players off guards, knowing that players tend to start macroing up and think, okay, I can set up an expansion. I'm just going to macro up and not really train enough units. I don't think this is going to be the case from Ruff. Ruff is now getting up a factory. He needs to get up Vikings, which is going to be key, but he does have the standard 3 racks build, 2 with Tech Labs, training up double Marauders and double Marines. He's caught up in the food war, and now with this Nexus, or with his opponent not having a Nexus, this may end up being a one-base all-in, especially as the Robotics Bay is not going to get the extended thermal lance range, which means that the Marauders are going to actually be able to outrange all of those Colossi.
He can't take down free bunkers either. If they've got that 9 range, he's going to be able to put pressure on those bunkers, but Ruff adding a 4th, 5th, and 6th bunker, so it's going to be a half dozen bunkers there for Ruff, and he's going to try to defend against this Colossus push, and once again, Time not getting the extended thermal lance, he just doesn't have the economy for it. And Ruff, I feel like he's going to be in a decent position to defend against this.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be in a decent position, able to shoot down the Observer. But how are they able to actually... Colossus able to see up onto the high ground. I was like, take down the Observer, but the Colossus just shows up in time. But with 6 bunkers, Ruff, the longer this game goes, the better it is going to be for Ruff right now, as he does have the economic advantage. You can see him, 44 Harvesters versus 30 Probes, and also the bonus advantage of those 2 Mules. SCV is now going to be coming offline, or coming off the mineral line, going to start repairing. There is a force field straight onto the bunker, but I believe it is still being repaired just a little bit. Yes, it is. You cannot put the force field straight up on the bunker. You need to put it around it there, and that was actually a little bit better of a defensive posture, as the extended thermal lance ranges are just now starting.
Yeah, so just starting that range, so he's not going to be able to engage all these bunkers now that he finally sees them for quite a while, and it looks like Time going to be going for the backdoor attack here. But I think that Ruff's going to see this right away, just finally getting up a sensor tower, so nice timing there. And Time's going to try to come in here, avoid those bunkers best he can, but at this point, the Army tab, it is still an advantage to Time, 2,600 and 1,900, but more and more units coming out for Ruff. Time's got to do some damage.
Yeah, SCV is unable to run away at all. There is going to be a Viking now coming in. The Viking going to be able to get in some free shots there, but Time really only scratching the surface. He isn't dealing as much damage as he really needs to. Time a little bit lucky with that proxy pylon just outside of the range of that sensor tower. It almost looks like it was warped in just beyond the range on purpose, as we now see a group of Marines and Marauders now making their way down. There is a Viking in this group, but no medevac, so these Marines are going to be sentenced to death. They do need to come in, just simply stim. If they're able to destroy the Nexus, it will cause another issue once more. In comes the Marines now to try to take down the Nexus. The Nexus is not going to get focused down. The Marines, however, now what are they doing? No, it doesn't look like much damage will be dealt at all.
Marines are dying. That's what they're doing. Without medevacs and stimming a little bit into the red and the yellow here, these Colossus are coming for revenge, and they're going to take down a lot of the army of Ruff. So I think this is actually going to even things up a little bit for Time. He's going to get on this fourth or this second base. He's still very, very behind in the Harvester count. That has to be stressed, but anytime you can give away or get free units there from your opponent when you're behind, definitely something you have to take advantage of. And Ruff definitely gave away a lot of Marines there.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm concerned about is that Ruff is currently training up 4 Vikings at a time. That is definitely a lot of Vikings, and now Ruff will also be following up with 4 medevacs at a time. So he did salvage those frontline bunkers. He does feel a little bit more comfortable, and perhaps to try to move out. He does also have level 1 weapons upgrade, which is going to be an advantage over Time for at least the next 110 seconds. So the next 2 minutes, if he's able to initiate some sort of attack, this would work out well. Ruff needs to capitalize on the fact that he does have a stronger economy. He did lose a lot of those Marines and Marauders pretty needlessly without dealing any damage, though. Time being very smart, running back with those 3 Colossi, and now up to 5 with level 1 weapons upgrade about halfway completed.
When Time pushed out with those early Colossus and he didn't have the extended thermal lance, Ruff only had 3 racks, so he didn't have a lot of production. But now we see he has added a number of racks. He's got 6 up in his main. He's got double starports with reactors. He has definitely ramped up his production so much here. He's really been able to take advantage of that economy. 63 workers to 44, so not only is he ahead in the economy, but production is keeping up as well. His macro are going to be very good here, and now they're both players sort of in the center of the field, posturing a little bit, and I think this is going to be a bad time for Time here, as these Vikings doing their best to take down these Colossus, but the Colossus is doing quite a bit of damage to the Bioforce of Ruff, but it looks like the Vikings can be too strong, just not a lot of Stalkers here to be anti-air here for Time, and I think this is going to be GG from a Protoss player.
Yeah, Ruff should be able to just land those Vikings now, but Ruff not going to continue the push. No, actually, he is going to continue to push, just grabbing a couple of those Marines and Marauders that were back home, emptying all those bunkers, and if he can stim in and take down this Nexus, that will most definitely mean Time has to GG. Time most likely will try to pull off those probes. We'll see what Ruff tries to do. Ruff only down to 6 Vikings compared to the, I believe, 8 to 10 that he had earlier, but there are still no Stalkers on the ground with only 1 Colossus in the air. The Colossi is gonna, or 1 Colossus is gonna fall rather quickly. A Mortal coming down the ramp as well, but I believe this Nexus can get sniped down very easily. Vikings, for some reason, not going into ground mode, but Time does say GG, and Ruff able to take the game.
There's a Mortal down there. Those Vikings can't go into ground mode. They're armored. They're staying in the air. They're going to watch that last battle there. So I assume that they knew that things were going in their favor anyway. And, a 2-0 series doesn't look good for vVv Gaming, but a 2-1 series doesn't look half bad. I mean, you've got Ruff coming off a very strong win here. It was not only a smart decision by him to go for that build order, but I think he followed it up well into the mid and the late game there, keeping up with his macro. He did make that little mistake, giving away all those Marines and a little bit of a Bioforce there without medevac support to sort of make a hasty retreat. But I like his play there, and he was able to take down Time and make this one 2-1.